Joining me now is Missouri Congressman Eric Burlison. He's a member of the Transportation and Infrastructure Oversight, Education, and Workforce Committees. Congressman, thanks very much for being here. That was weird. She went on the show. I guess she says she went on the show in a personal capacity and not as Commerce Secretary.
Yeah, that seems like an excuse to not to not talk about the topic at hand.
Right.
And that's the trend of the Biden administration, is to display apathy when all of these problems that are occurring. Look, this is going to be a serious problem to the American people, to all of us in the United States.
So tell me about that. What's the impact, Congressman?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, economically, $5 billion a day, but to the American consumer, that means that the things that you enjoy purchasing are not going to be on the shelves in the coming weeks. And when you ask what's happening, it's going to be a result of this delay in the ports. In addition, farmers are going to face a serious issue when we have, perishable items that are going to be sitting at docks. You're not going to be able to recoup that because those things are going to perish. They're going to decay. So this is going to be a tremendous loss to the American people. And it's all pivoting around 43,000 workers. This is the very reason why the Taft-Hartley Act exists. Look, it's one thing for a union to unionize and strike. They're given that rights under the federal government, and to put pressure on their employer. But when that pressure is being placed on the entire American population, that's a little bit greater of an impact. And I think that's why, the federal government also gives a measured approach to give the president an 80-day cooling off period that he should be exercising. But again, he's being apathetic and he's not doing his job.
I wonder why he's not intervening here. You mentioned the perishable items. That's the first thing that the public will feel. But then as weeks go on, there are other issues. What is the other impact of this? With regard to inflation, you have to believe that if there's, a smaller supply, then the demand will go up and prices will follow.
Absolutely. We already are experiencing record inflation. It's painful for the American consumer. It's painful for all of us. And this is only going to exacerbate this problem. And I think that they chose the timing of this to inflict the most serious harm on the American consumer and the American economy that they possibly could. This will actually affect global economies as well. So there's a lot of other countries that rely on the food that's coming out of the United States. This is going to impact a lot of companies and really a global economy.
Well, I wonder if this comes up at the debate tonight. Tonight, of course, is the CBS vice presidential debate. Harris's running mate, Tim Walz, and Trump's running mate, J.D. Vance, face off before the nation. This debate will be held live in New York City from the CBS Broadcast Center. What are you expecting? The debate will be moderated by Norah O'Donnell and Margaret Brennan. There will be no live studio audience. Moderators can mute the microphones. Answers and rebuttals must be 2 minutes, while follow-ups can be 1 minute. No pre-written notes are allowed. Only pen, paper, and water are permitted on stage. Former President Trump telling Kellyanne Conway his thoughts on debating in tonight's vice presidential showdown. Here's what he said. Watch.
I would love to have 2 or 3 more debates. I like it. I enjoy it. But they're so rigged and so stacked. You'll see it tomorrow with J.D. It'll be stacked. He's going up against a moron, a total moron.
Congressman, your expectations?
Yeah, he's right. They are rigged. They are stacked with certain media channels. They're not doing the debate with Fox Business, where they would get a fair debate. CBS is known for, just since Harris has become the nominee, having somewhere close to 80% positive news coverage of Harris. The alternative to that is they've had somewhere close to 70+ negative news stories on President Trump. Yeah. So it's not a fair channel. But at the end of the day, I think that JD has an opportunity to ask questions of Walz that the American people need to get answers to. He needs to ask him about his connections to China. He needs to ask him about his involvement in bringing, young students 30 times to China. Look,
Yeah.
I haven't even been to Florida 30 times. But and his involvement with the Macau Polytechnic University.
Yeah.
These are the kind of questions that JD needs to be able to ask during this debate.
Yeah, and of course, the chairman of the Oversight Committee has sent a letter to the administration demanding these answers. Congressman, thank you. We'll be watching all of that. We appreciate your time this morning. Eric Burlison joining us
Anytime.
this morning. All right, we'll be right back. Stay with us.